Oh, good night. Good night. Good night. We're back.
Good night, everybody.
I got drink. I got drink and I'm
Thanks
ready.
for joining.
Wasn't put to me a question. I feel just
Thank you
causing
for-
chaos tonight.
That's all it's
Thank you
gonna
for
be.
joining us. We're gonna dive right in. Everybody, roll d20s.
Fuck.
I don't want to.
Ah,
We're
fuck!
gonna do it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll switch it up tonight.
What?
Ready.
Ah, 2 12s. Cirion.
God damn it.
We were safe, Linz. We matched in the
Perfectly-
middle.
We were
Perfectly
nice
middle of
in
the
the middle.
road.
Yep. Can't stray from there.
All right, Kevin, if you'd be so kind, give us a recap from 2 weeks ago because we have the
God damn
schedule of a kindergartner.
It's true though.
That's
All
not
right.
true. They reliably take naps.
This might be a TLDR version. Too long, don't read for you uneducated. I literally just feel like causing chaos today. This is gonna be bad. Okay. Anywho, last time on AdventureCheck, we left off with our heroes walking through the sewers, and they began by walking and deciding which way to go. When all of a sudden, 2 random motherfuckers decided walking down. And we decided a little too long on what to do. Follow them or not. Till eventually we decided not. Waste of time. So we managed to find our way going up. But we ran into a little bit of trouble. Couple guards came up, and Malvhor and Cirion decided to do an old trick that they used to do back in their war days. And Malvhor held Cirion up like the good partner he is, while Cirion was drinking enough to... I don't know. Anyway. The guards didn't really look twice after us. I'm going to switch back to normal now because it's starting to get a little eh. But the guards didn't really look twice at us anymore after that. After they kind of realized, like, wait, the taverns are all closed. But Malvhor, with that silver tongue, which is why Goldwyn loves him so much, is the reason why
Oh my
we were
God.
able to escape. Y'all know what I'm about. And listen, if that's surprising to anybody, let me know. But so we managed to slip past the guards. So eventually we made our way to the building. I forget what to call it. But as we're starting to search, we're trying to find the best way in. We send Locke around to find the best way in. Eventually we kind of did, but then we discovered that Captain Turgon, the treacherous motherfucker, is here as well, and we are in the process of, I think, getting caught. And that's where we left off.
Yes, pretty much puts it on the head for the most part. All right, for funsies, because there wasn't really much in the way of trivia, but since Kevin couldn't remember it, I'll throw it out there. Malvhor, what is the name of the landmark building, whatever you want to refer to it as, in Osgiliath that you guys are heading to?
Oh, you mean the one we're in?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it's the king's house.
Correct! It's the old king's house when the capital was Osgiliath.
The king must have upgraded when they left Osgiliath.
Yeah,
Look,
probably,
that's a pretty low bar, man.
So 2 of you can go ahead and take your inspiration for the night.
Hey,
Well,
I'm
the
inspired.
dice didn't want you to have it. 12, 12. Now,
It's
all
okay.
4
That's
of you
better
rolled
than my
12.
opening. My opening sentence was still going to be Matt takes God tier notes. Based
Hey,
on
Kev.
last week's recap,
Hey, Kevin did a good job.
Kevin did acceptably.
Yay!
All
I'll
right.
take it. It's the highest compliment I've ever
While
gotten.
being a
from you.
borderline TOS violation.
TOS.
Terms of service.
Ah.
Alright.
Whoa! Whoa! Okay.
What? What?
Everything froze and everything went in my face. We're fine.
Okay. Alright. Let me just manipulate some audio here.
Okay, I was about to ask.
Just for good tension purposes.
For good tension purposes.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that should just be blasting they're taking the hobbits to Isengard in the background at this point.
I'm
Okay.
What was Isengard?
So, as we pick up where we left off, Fig, you ran up the ladder and are now on the roof, like you said at the very last moment of last session.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm holding the ladder, ready to just go.
Yeah, you're up there all alone, sort of laying prone, flush with the ceiling, the roof. As Turgon unlocks the door and steps inside to the main bed chamber, and closes the door behind him as he locks eyes with Locke.
Ta.
Essentially, right as soon as he sees you and immediately recognizes you, just says, "Well, this isn't where I expected you to be."
Well, hello!
He turns behind him and shuts the door. You hear the click of the locking mechanism falling back into place.
And after I took such good time to remove it and put it back in its place like nothing happened.
Yes. Impressive work. I assume you've probably been here for quite some time.
Long enough.
Deft hands of a thief.
Bow.
Is
With
this supposed...
with the dagger still in my hand, that was like the improvised quick lockpick for that.
Yeah. Interesting, though. If you're
Oh,
here,
how
then
so?
Well, if you're here, I assumed you've gotten my message, though I've received no word of such that you would be in returning.
Message.
Oh.
I mean, I do believe you left us with a rather to-the-point message by throwing us in prison. I don't know how much more of a message you could have delivered.
That message was not meant for you. Unfortunately, you appeared to be a little bit bystanders in that situation. But I did dispatch an individual under my commands to track you lot down. Ranger by the name of-
And I roll insight? Oh,
Yeah, go
finish
for
your
it.
sentence.
A ranger by the name of Barzor.
I believe him.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
you were
awesome.
there though. Technically,
Yeah.
you were there with Cirion
Yeah.
when you met
Yeah.
Bardor.
Yeah, but he's
Right,
checking
but
to see if
Bardor had no
Turgon's-
idea.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
Yeah. Trying to see if he's on the up and up.
Yeah. Did you come here alone?
Sorry, 10-second player break brain for that.
Is there music supposed to be playing right now?
Yes.
Oh.
It's definitely
Nobody hear
playing.
anything?
It's very quiet. but
I
do
still
hear
hear the
It's-
opening music because I glitched.
It is not the opening music.
I hear it.
It's better than me not
I
hearing
hear-
anything.
Cloaked
It's one
in
of the-
shadows.
Yes,
Okay.
that is what's playing.
I hear it now. I had to refresh.
Okay.
Let me refresh too. Yeah, I've
Have
got
you
the
tried turning it off
Wanderer.
and back on? IT 101. It's not a cop-out either, folks. It actually works for an absurd amount of things.
It does.
Clears the memory.
However, if you have a computer that's been built in the last 3 years, do an actual restart, not a shutdown, because fast startup is stupid. It doesn't actually clear things. This IT lesson brought to you by DAP.
Alright, all set. I'm good.
So did you come here alone, Master Elf?
Yes, I did.
Perception check.
Please.
Ooh,
I don't like how he was pulling up his drink just as he said that.
ooh.
team. Well, if that is the case, then a lot of you must have scattered shortly after your escape. There's gonna be more effort to track the rest down then. Unfortunate. So what brings you back here, if you seemed unbeknownst to my messenger?
Unbeknownst to your messenger would be a stretch, but an entertaining one nonetheless. I'm aware of your messenger. I've spoken with your messenger. He was oblivious to who I was.
Also oblivious to that chat line, sweet God.
I'm not going to say that, Kevin. I do not share this opinion.
Well, then what brings you here? Standing in the house of the former king, rifling through as he points towards the wardrobe that you were trying to pry open, rifling through old Gondorian artifacts.
I literally walk over there and start trying to jiggle it open again. You are correct. Trying is definitely the key word here. That door was a joke. This should have been an absolute joke, and yet this is the one that's eluding me.
I'll ask you one more time, Master Locke. What are you doing here?
In poor humors this evening, I see.
Well, if you forgive me, it is rather late. And if
It's
I was
true.
expecting your return, I would have been informed. And we'd probably be having a much kinder conversation, so it leads me to believe that you're here for something that is not entirely something that will benefit me.
Maybe yes, maybe no, as far as I am, again, my understanding upon our previous parting, I had very little intention of announcing my presence, considering, you know, the whole escaping from your prison thing. Didn't seem a good idea to make myself blatantly well known.
Yes, about that. To be fair, as he sort of crosses the room over towards the door that's Malvhor would be behind.
Do I hear him stepping? Do I hear him walking?
Give me a perception check.
How quiet is he walking?
Oh.
Do I hear him talking?
You're hearing muffled conversation on the other side of the door.
It sounds like like a Peanuts episode.
I think that's enough for me to try and hide behind the desk or underneath the desk.
Okay, go ahead and give me a step.
That's alright. And I'm also going to walk over there and essentially try to intercept. No.
Yeah, 14, not
I haven't had the
terrible.
opportunity to go through that one yet. You decided to show up before the chance came up. Just wait.
Give me a persuasion.
As for what I'm looking for, any kind of... What's that?
Give me a persuasion check.
If this rolls well, I'm gonna cry.
Do it.
Come on.
19.
Wow.
Better.
Please work.
19.
As he takes about 2 steps that direction, and Malvhor, you sort of dive under the desk and try and make yourself small and in the shadows. So are you just here to pick the place clean? It's the only reason you returned.
Not pick the place clean, believe me. If I was just in it for money or bubbles, there are plenty of other cities outside of Osgiliath where I'm not currently wanted that obviously would have been a much easier take. No, just happened to be working my way back through the area and wanted to see if I could find anything out regarding my friends and I were taken captive, really.
That seems fair enough. In the initial events of what transpired, the lot of you were arrested under proper suspicion.
We are arrested under inconvenient placement, but apples and oranges and such.
Perhaps. The three of you were locked up while an investigation was ensued. While my investigators at the site turned up some interesting bits of information, it was quickly determined that the three of you actually were not directly involved. Manipulated would seem to be more of what was tracking. To what end, we're not sure.
Can I make another insight check at this point?
You may.
Okay.
4.
My man's telling the truth.
Hard to read. He's had
Apparently.
a lot of time to potentially fabricate the story. He has a lot of time to rehearse it in his head, or he could be speaking straight from the truth. It's hard to say. When we realized there were multiple parties involved, yourself included, we figured there must have been some purpose to your involvement, whether you knew about it or not.
I suppose the fact that you've yet to draw a weapon on me lends some credence to what you're saying.
Believe me, if I was going to draw a weapon on you here, you would not survive.
Again, apples, oranges, opinions. Everybody has one.
You're more than welcome to try to draw a blade yourself. If you so choose to have a fight here, we can.
I just kind of look over to the blade that's never left my hand the entire conversation yet.
Touche.
And then sheath it. I'm sorry.
When we made this no, it's fine. When we made this discovery, it was determined that the best course of action was to keep you imprisoned, not for your own sake or for any wrongdoings that transpired, but to hopefully draw out those that were manipulating the situation, seeming they saw some value in you and that they may come to your rescue.
Okay, 2 counterpoints to that. One, I believe we could have walked out just about any time after the first day. You can tell the age of the locks down in the dungeon. 2, don't you think that if you were trying to use this as bait, it would have been better to at least tell, maybe not all of us, but at least one of us, that some deterrent might have been done and we may have waited patiently?
To your second point, that would have entailed us to know that all of you were trustworthy.
Hence my saying potentially limiting. Malvhor actually nearly went insane. He was hearing voices. It was just a terrible thing.
Well,
I couldn't even make jokes about his age to him. That's how hard it hit me.
I forgot about that completely. A bear! There was a bear!
between you and me, when I was a cadet in the Gondorian military, he still had a few years on me. Though the rank he sat at for so long, it's not quite surprising that he broke so easily in prison. I can only imagine after he escaped that he probably wandered into his own madness and drowned in the Anduin.
Multiple attempts were made at that, but alas, no. As far as I'm aware, he's alive.
Regardless of the decisions that were made and what has transpired, that was the situation that came to. Did not anticipate an escape, quite honestly, so bravo, I commend you for that. You did something that I did not foresee. And while I was out of the city, no less. Which brings me to my next point, is I do believe your imprisonment drew out a traitor. Several of the guards there were loyal to me, and to me alone.
Look back at the great spear that's on my back.
They took detailed records of any visitations to that prison. And specifically, anyone who came to visit any of you. And there was one name that came down. And that was Lieutenant Turgon. Lieutenant Cirion.
You're Turgon!
You got promoted! Just kidding.
Demoted. Cirion is the only one who paid you any visit. The only one on record. And he was the only one on duty in my absence the night of your escape.
Yes, but there was a rather small matter of a bear the night of our escape as well.
Yes, I've heard reports of this bear. Vanished immediately after being attacked. Seemed more to be a trick than any sort of real manifestation of a bear. He gestures in your direction. Your people.
For the record, I've literally missed every instance of Lindsay using this. So back in my brain, she's been a full-on bear both times.
Yeah. And when you did escape, the bear was gone, so you have no real idea of what may have transpired. Unless Fig told you, which I don't believe she has. About the night of the escape when you were in bear form.
That was me.
You told them it was you, but I don't think you told them that you took 1 point of damage and it disappeared.
Oh, no, that's not what I was worried about at the time. So.
Right. So, yeah, so that little bit of information is currently a mystery.
Okay.
And he just,
I was gonna say even my own player knowledge was lacking in that, because those were both times that I missed and didn't quite get fully through the rod. So.
But based on, I think you guys do technically know I do take damage in that form based on the last time I used it, because I got attacked by the Gobos when I went back in the cave that we got Merwin from.
Okay.
So, because you saw her kind of like double back a little bit when she came to. But that's beside the point.
He gestures at you, Locke, and says, your kin are accustomed to certain magics. Not out of the realm of possibilities that this may have been something along that line. Regardless, Cirion was in charge. Cirion visited you. And upon my return and hearing what's transpired, Cirion was very hostile. And in the last few weeks, the whole reason, as he sort of like gestures out to the whole just general area, the whole reason for this preposterous martial law is because of him. To suppress.
I feel like that deserves another insight check.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm allowed to, because there's been a lot of them.
That's perfectly fine. He's laying out a lot of things here.
Okay, 14. That's better.
14.
Better than it's been.
Seems honest. He seems like he's actually a little bit of emotion here, that he's creeping up in a little bit of anger and maybe a bit of hurt when he speaks about this.
Okay. How is it his fault? You outrank him, do you not? I actually do not fully understand human military rankings, but...
Lieutenant, captain, it just goes up. Sergeant, private, that whole thing. It's irrelevant, really. I do outrank him. And
so then how is this his fault?
In my absence, he is in command and accepting full responsibility for anything that transpires. He disobeyed orders, visiting you.
Yes.
And I have sources that tell me that he slowed the response in the escape, allowing you to actually gain ground and get out ahead of the situation.
Oh shit.
If it literally weren't for that insight check making me believe this is truthful, the things going through my mind right now would be, man, that's convenient. The guy who acted like he was going to help us is the one that's a traitor, and the one who put us in jail is the one that was wronged.
Yep.
But
Is anybody else doing anything during all this?
I'm still hiding. I
Okay.
just don't want to be found.
I don't know how much I can hear of everything from the rooftop.
It's pretty muffled, coming through some concrete, pretty much some stone.
Okay, I am. Yeah, I'm staying put. I'm being still and quiet as can be, and I'm just trying to listen intently for any danger or any fast action to be prepared to bolt with others.
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check then.
Oh,
Say, so Cirion's essentially doing the same thing. Like, I'm more just listening and watching and checking to see if anyone is coming up that I need to be aware of.
Go ahead and give me a perception check as well.
it's nighttime, right?
It's still very much nighttime.
It's dark.
24.
You said perception, yes? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okie 19.
dang, y'all rolling good.
Shut up, Nick.
Okay. So the two of you, though the conversation is muffled, you are getting bits and pieces that come through every now and again, and you do get the sense of the overall vibe of the conversation isn't hostile yet.
What are the others that were with Turgon doing? Are they still just kind of mulling about?
Well, you don't have eyes on them. You can't see them.
Right.
So, the two of you do hear some footsteps now because they did divert to investigate a sound that Cirion caused by tossing a rock.
Oh yeah.
You do hear their footsteps, and they seem like they're separating. One seems like they're heading back towards the door that Turgon's at. Also, Fig, with a 24, you hear a very, very low, soft rumble that seems to be coming from, like, close by. You look around, and sort of, like, on the opposite side of you, on the roof, as you look around, the moonlight just sort of catches something just right, and you see two sort of yellow orbs gloss over and disappear.
What? On top of, like, a rooftop, you said?
Yeah, directly across from you, because you're on the roof.
So scurry.
Oh no. Can I... Oh, but they disappeared.
I mean, it looks like the light hit it, and, like, they shifted and disappeared.
Can I slowly, like, kind of crawl over and see if I can get it back in my view if I just start crawling toward that direction?
You crawl about 3 or 4 feet to your right to get around this opening in the courtyard, and you see a outline of a silhouette sort of shift in your direction, and the eyes and the orbs return into, like, a yellowish glow. Probably about, like, that big.
Oh, God.
How big's the silhouette?
1.5 feet, 2 feet.
A cat.
Meow.
I don't know why that's not where my brain was going with what this could potentially be, but
Little soft rumble is still there.
It's purring.
um, I'm gonna do a quick little like. Pss, pss, pss. And see what
Lindsay's going to stereotype white girl at the cat.
And does Cirion hear this? You know what?
No, I'm doing it super quietly, only for a cat to hear.
The cat's gonna pull out a knife and stab you.
Can I do a perception check to Liz to if I could hear that?
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead and give me an animal handling check.
Oh, me?
Two very intense but distinct conversations going on.
Look,
It's a
the
juxtaposition
cat is
I love
important.
doing.
The cat matters.
You see the top of the silhouette sort of flatten out a bit, and then it shifts and morphs into something like longer and begins moving in your direction around. And it comes into a bit of the moonlight, and you see this grayish black cat just sit down next to you, purring.
I'm not gonna lie, there's at least a small part of me that says you're going to say a ginger tabby and then just literally pull up Klein.
Cat.
We're here in the background.
See this? Man, these handouts are getting realistic.
They really go the extra mile for their players.
I'm gonna hold my hand out to let the kitty sniff and get accustomed, and then I'll do some scritches under the chin.
This is
Okay.
the most epic cat scritch ever. She's scritching the cat while there's like a choir in the background.
Does Cirion see or hear any of this?
And
I'm
then
gonna go with no.
I'm on top of a roof, and
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be like,
I'm on top of a roof.
I'm on a roof.
I'm about to say, this has some strong I'm on a boat energy right now.
I was about to say, I'm on a roof, motherfucker.
But I'm just gonna be like, I don't suppose you could help with further distraction or anything. What do I have? To have something.
And while that's happening,
I'll feed it a ration, and then yeah, you can by all means get away from me.
Shoot.
Cirion assisted your escape. Cirion has sown deceit throughout my ranks, turned gods against me. And for the most part, this martial law is to get things under control. I've
Is
lost
often the auspices.
I have lost nearly a third of my guard in the last month. And Cirion has been missing for weeks.
And what about that brings you here? I know why I'm here. Strange place for you to just conveniently be.
Well, this building has been left unattended since Rador has not returned. He's not been allowed to re-enter due to the state of things. So I've been gathering what I could here, so when I do see him, or when he returns, I would have his research for him that he can retrieve at his leisure.
Where would his research be?
Well, that room over there is an utter mess, but the bits I have found as he walks past you towards the wardrobe and pulls out a key and unlocks it, opens up the one that you couldn't get into. This leather-bound tome, seemed awfully important, so I set it aside so I wouldn't lose it again. At which point he sort of cocks his head and narrows his eyes. Is this what you came here for?
Well, it would technically fall under the grounds of my statement of my curiosity as to why we were arrested when you consider we were doing jobs for him. So I figured his research might be relevant. Neither persuasion nor deception is technically the truth, just snarky.
I don't very much understand the line of work that he does as an advisor to the king. Not much of the court seems to care for him. But he has had his uses here in Osgiliath. And at that moment, there's a knock at the door. Captain? Yes, what is it? Ronno arrived at the gate. We just received word. Yes? Well, apparently, sir, there's been some suspicious folk that came through Pelennor earlier this day. They were instructed not to head towards Osgiliath, but they've been seen spotted heading this direction. How many, Sergeant? 4, sir. That'll be all, Sergeant.
I'm gonna insight one more time just for my general overall vibe of him.
Okay. 15.
Am I convinced he's been truthful? I guess.
For the most part, yeah. You believe that, for the grand scheme of things, his focus is bringing order to Osgiliath, and a Cirion in some shape or form has caused upheaval. And he does believe that he may have been the traitor that assisted your escape. And currently, based on what Yves revealed himself, doesn't believe that you guys were actually responsible directly for anything.
So I'm not getting attempt to implicate us, like I'm getting more a general on the up and up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then at that point I sigh, walk over, open the door to the other room. Get out here, coffin robber.
Oh no. Malvhor still is incredibly uncomfortable, but he's gonna play it off like he's not, and he's gonna step out, and you see inside his like traveling cloak, you see some papers that are sticking out that were from the desk. He just stuffed them all into his coat because he had nowhere else to put them, and he's just like, "Oh, Captain Turgon, fancy running into you here."
I sigh again, look over at Turgon. Cirion and Fig are probably in the courtyard.
I want to yell out. No.
Cirion, I'm very familiar with. Who's Fig?
Ah, yes, you never really got to meet her. She tended to stay outside in the few times that we interacted. Another companion of ours.
That would explain the gap that we found in your escape. An unknown 4th member.
I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Don't make me regret it. We tend to hold on to grudges for multiple of your species' lifetimes.
Yes, I've read the books.
So I'll walk out and go collect Cirion and Fig.
I mean, we were.
I want to walk in so badly, and they're just.
Hell, within your right at this point. Let's be real.
Oh, I know.
You can do what you want.
I know. You know, that part of me does want to start causing chaos, so Cirion's a little pissed about this.
I'm inclined to believe we've been less hostile company than anticipated.
Are you sure about this?
I am sure enough that if it becomes a problem, we'll handle it.
He already gave me away.
I'll give the kitty just a few more head scratches, and then I'll keep crawling to the ladder. But then I'll just get to the top of it, and then I'll just slide down in one swoop and land.
Splinters.
At this point, if this is somehow bullshit and it's going to turn into a fight, we are now in a situation where I would feel better with the whole party being together.
I suppose. And then the moment I turn to see Turgon, I'll how tall is he?
He's like 6'2".
Isn't Fig like 9 feet?
I'm 6'4", so I'll
just
for
ego.
I'll stand tall. Once I turn to face Turgon, I'll just kind of make sure I stand straight and just tower over him a little and look down at him.
Yeah, I'll come down too.
Pleasure to meet you.
I'll just kind of look at him and say very, like, I don't want to say like salty, but just kind of like just very begrudgingly, just, Captain.
Captain.
Wait, what?
I mean,
And Cirion's not really gonna take his eyes off of Turgon. Like his hand, his hand's gonna be like on his hip, just kind of like just standing there, like arms crossed in front a little bit, but his hand is close to his dagger.
That's a question for another day. Anyways.
Please, Cirion, don't hesitate to speak. The floor is yours.
What's in front of me? What's in this room right now?
There's a 4-post bed. There's a large wardrobe. There is a chest on the ground, and there is a large painting on the west wall. That's about it. Otherwise, it's pretty much just like broken up cobblestone and like
Okay.
aged room.
Are we all in the room now? Do we need to move our tokens?
You can move them if you like.
so
Bob.
I have a strange question to ask, Captain
Cirion's
Turgon.
gonna act. Hold on, before Matt goes, I was gonna use that to kind of like break and go. And Cirion just kind of like pound the door behind him for a second, just like his fist hits a wall behind him. For all my years of service, that's how we're taken care of.
Learning a lot today.
Not many in their years of service have lost an entire city on their watch.
Not many in their years of service had a whole army to deal with just a small garrison, but I did my damnedest to hold it. Now I'll ask again. That is what my years gave me. No trial, no nothing, just thrown into prison. I've been holding on to this for a while.
By all means, Cirion, if this makes you uncomfortable, you're more than welcome to leave.
It doesn't make me uncomfortable. I want answers.
Well, the answers you seek might be hidden behind questions you do not know yet.
Then enlighten me. And my eyes have not left him the entire time.
Yeah, a lot of you do feel like an unbroken stare between these two that neither one of them want to sort of give ground.
Are there others around still?
What?
Are there others around still? Like other guards meandering about, or did they come to reconvene like we did?
They didn't come to reconvene, so it's just the 4 of you and Turgon right now.
I'm going to do the whole body break thing.
I was just about to do that.
In front of their
You get I'll distract
I have
Turgon. You get the
least
kid.
history with this guy here other than Vig.
I'll put a I'll softly put a hand on Cirion's shoulder and just look at him and go I think we all need to regroup here for a moment, and
I'm not even gonna take my eyes off of him, and I'm just gonna kindly take your hand off of me.
Cirion,
I'm standing between you two right now.
this is not the time for a fight.
We can certainly have a civilized discussion, if that is what you wish. I dispatched a ranger some weeks ago by the name of Bardor.
Very bad at his
For the
job.
lot of you.
A part of me, Sarah goes like, oh, no.
That guy.
We found him, but he didn't find us. You can understand our apprehension. The people who were jailing us sent people after us.
I do indeed. And it is unfortunate that this is the situation we're in, but it is the way of things.
Now, I'm
And
curious.
at any points, you're more than welcome to walk away. We do not have to do this. Know that I intend no ill will against you, and that any charges that were being brought forth to you are hereby dropped.
That's kind.
Siri's gonna get like a suspicious kind of look, being like, what's the catch, Captain?
There's no catch. You did nothing wrong. I used you as bait, and I believe I found the traitor in our midst, and now I intend...
I want a name.
A Cirion.
I didn't hear that part, so.
I know.
Yeah, say Cirion didn't hear that part, so.
No, I know. No, I'm saying that I said it in tandem with him, just went, Akirian.
Yes.
So, Captain, why do you have such a strong presence in the sewers? What's going on down there?
I don't
You
have
don't.
presence in the sewers.
There's there's a whole camp of guards in the sewers.
Camp, how many?
How many people did we see?
We saw two.
Oh, I wrote it down.
We saw at least. I imagine we saw at least two, but we heard a bunch and we avoided them because we didn't want to be seen.
There were several patrols that we managed to get around. And apparently, I guess that's all I wrote.
Yeah, there's enough people down there that have campfires.
But yeah, there were camps and there were multiple patrols that we had to kind of like.
There were multiple
sort
patrols
out
of
for,
2
like,
to 3
Frogger.
people.
Mhm. Yeah.
Did not have many good things to say about you.
Yeah, they said the only reason they were down there, we overheard some of them, the only reason they were down there was because of you. And I just thought you posted them down there.
No, we do have routine sweeps through the sewers every now and again, at least the sections of the sewers that are still serviceable. But we have no camp.
There were definitely fires down there.
Do I have charges?
No figure perfect.
Oh. You're doing just fine.
Whilst it stepped to my mind, you actually never interacted with him, so he had no idea that you were even with us.
That's why I'm curious.
Now,
Sergeant Thorley. Yes, Captain. Return to the Bastion. Scrounge up a scouting party. Start searching the sewers. What do I cut?
We can assist with that.
I'm willing to accept the assistance.
in return for what we came here for,
And what did you come here for?
Rattle's notes.
I don't see why that should be a problem.
Heck.
Also, I want a written pardon for all of us, too.
There's
And-
no pardon because the charges were dropped.
But I want to make sure that it's in writing.
Then you can take it up with the king.
Is my mic picking me up?
Yes, but
Go ahead and roll an
Yes.
insight.
Okay.
Cirion
time and
has
I didn't see the green around my window, and I was like, "What?"
Cirion wants blood.
Since there was no trial, there were no formal charges, you're not actually accused of anything. You were used as bait, and I know that must put a poor taste in your mouth. But unfortunately, when I have to seek out insurgents within my own ranks, I have to go to unlikely lengths. 17. Yeah, he seems fairly willing. He doesn't really have a need to hang on to those notes.
Well, the silver lining to all this is because you arrested us and we broke out and escaped the cities, I got to get back together with my love of my heart.
My heart sings for you.
There's another person of interest there as well, but he doesn't seem too inclined to acknowledge that.
Oh, that delivery.
I love a happy ending.
Whatever these notes are, they're far beyond me. All I know is that the lot that you disrupted that night had a presence deeper in here than I thought. We've mostly rooted it out. But the sneaking suspicion I have with a Cirion, beyond the fact of him just being a regular traitor and usurper, is that he might have some allegiance to this cult organization or what have you. If Rador has any word on this, as he points towards the notes, actually, he holds it up. And what is going on here? I would love to hear it.
I mean, do we trust Turgon enough? Sorry, Turgon. Do we trust him enough to tell him everything? Are we sort of invested at this point?
Cyrion's gonna glance at you, Malvhor, and like I said, I feel like causing chaos tonight. I'm gonna jump across the table. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna go.
Go for it.
No. I'm gonna look back like, Captain, does the name Mordu ring any bells?
Perhaps we help with the sewers first, like he asked, and then go from there.
That's a good idea, Fig.
So we can
Turgon
share
scratches his
information as
chin.
we go.
No. The name Mordu escapes me. Doesn't sound familiar.
He's someone we ran into that's possibly connected to this.
I believe his constant state of being is slightly more insane than Malvhor went in the prison.
Now, if I remember correctly, Rador did tell us he has the moniker of the Mouth of Sauron.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. He also goes by another name as the Mouth of Sauron.
Do the dead need mouths?
Well,
Sauron
apparently Mordu, the Mouth of Sauron, and another of Sauron's lieutenants are jockeying for power over the forces of darkness.
Well, the Witch King is well held up in Minas Ithil. Or as some of the passerbys are calling it now, is Minas Morgul. The Valley of the Moon is not faring so well these days. Ithilien runs rampant with all matter of orc. The Rangers struggle to keep those roads safe.
You said a Cirion is missing.
When I returned from your grand escape,
Thank you.
he wasn't to be found. And along with a third of my guard, most of them fled to the wind or went underground, and apparently in more manner of speaking than I thought.
I would pay
Could-
money a Cirion is in the sewer.
Or already with Mordu and the others. Potentially.
Could be working for
We-
Mordu if he's that traitor, or I mean, we don't know.
We have come across humans already with orcs. He could be among them.
He would be a terrifying adversary for them to have, or for us to have on their side. You understand what I'm saying? Cirion is not really one for words. Likes to speak with his fists and his weapons mostly.
I look at
He's rather
Cirion.
good at it.
I just go, what?
Nothing, just reminds me of somebody.
Have I?
You have had
Wait.
a slight hot streak lately.
Have
What do
I
you say, Locke?
ever met a Cirion? As Fig? Okay.
Nope.
Can you describe him?
Large man, mustache, eye patch, tan skin. Taller than you, actually.
Hmm.
Big
Oh,
does
yeah,
not
I
like
forgot how
anyone
huge he
taller
was.
than her.
Not really, no.
Imagine having a Napoleon complex at 6'4".
Does that ring a bell at all to me in terms of someone with that kind of appearance description?
Like, meaning you've seen them or you've heard of them?
Running into them, like whether like on the road or in the caves or in the mine or any of the humans that might have been about
okay.
with everything we've discovered thus far.
Go ahead and just give me a wisdom check.
Ew. I don't know if I like that. I don't.
A 3!
In those
All
that
of
you've
your
encountered,
Sorry.
in
go ahead.
those of it you've encountered, no one really seems to fit that description. At least not off of memory.
Okay.
And you'd think someone taller than Vig would stand out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably.
we've all three met Akirian and spoken to him and seen face to face.
Yeah.
If we see him, we can pick him out, like, easily.
Ideally, and if anything, since he aided you once, he might be more willing to speak with you and let you get in closer.
We could pretend to be on his side against Captain Turgon.
We could use that if we go down in the sewers as a story to draw them out.
You very well could, and that might actually get us more information. If they are deeper embedded with the enemy than we believe, that would be one way to find out.
Deep cover operation, deep cover operation, deep cover operation.
Oh, more stealth missions.
Oh, this is a stealth of a different kind. This is all about how you speak and carry yourself. Not sticking to
So it
shadows.
seems like we should let Malvhor do this alone, is what I'm hearing.
Those situations I don't do best with.
I adore, Lindsay, how your character's entire RP background relies on wisdom checks, and you have nothing in it.
I know, right? Everything is like survival and being out in the wilderness. And yeah, she can sneak and she also hunts and fight and stuff. And the one stat I didn't pick was wisdom to points it.
I constantly question your survival in the wild.
Well, I had other priorities with stats.
Captain Turgon, if
Look at my con.
if we're gonna be working with you, is there some way we could freely move about the city without your guards harassing us every step of the way?
Return with me to the Bastion and we can see what we can do. Unfortunately, due to the martial law, it's sort of their duty to harass anyone. Unfortunately.
Is the martial law come up because of this insurgency?
It has. Once I returned and your escape had been publicized, or at least reached my ears, and a Cirion had gone missing, I suspected treason or subterfuge of some sort, so I sent a missive for request of martial law, and it was granted. If we can deal with the Cirion situation, get things under control, and get the guard back into the loyal place of where it belongs to the crown, and the martial law can be lifted and Osgiliath can be reopened. But, by all means, you're more than welcome to follow me back to the Bastion. My guards need to cycle their watch. The sun will be up in a few hours. You're more than welcome to set out for the sewers as soon as you wish, or you may wait.
Oh, guys, it's almost been a full day since we've been up.
Yeah, we probably need to...
Sleep.
At least take a short rest.
Oh, I want,
I don't know if we could take a long rest in Osgiliath.
I was about to say, I don't know, Mr. DM, has Osgiliath been restored as a sanctuary in lieu of this conversation? Wishful
No, it has
thinking.
not.
Oh man, come on! Sorry, no, because all of my stuff is long rest, so it's not gonna be till we get back.
Just to reiterate, because we explained it in the last fellowship phase at how Peligir just automatically unlocked as a sanctuary and Osgiliath was removed as one, that if Osgiliath were ever to become friendly territory to you again, you would have to go through the fellowship phase or the undertaking to reopen it as a sanctuary.
The reason we got Peligir was for free is because that way we would have at least one.
Yeah. There might be a way in Osgiliath to long rest currently. No one seemed to have thought of it.
Wins! After the Bastion.
But
Okay. Alright, I need to be very spare with my abilities then.
I get my inspirations back on a short rest now, so... That's exactly how I sound.
I was gonna say, it's like, man, I thought I heard Matt again. Wow. I was gonna say,
Imagine having abilities that require any form of rest.
Rogue
So
life.
all
I just have to be sneaky.
So no one else is a long rest, it's just me?
Yeah, Cirion gets his stuff back on a short rest too.
Yep.
Wonderful.
And I just used my action surge.
And all of my stuff is
I feel like
attack
a short
and
rest
skill checks.
piety is very viable in this system.
Yeah, considering long rests are so rare. Okay.
Okay, I guess we go to the Bastion then and hope Turgon's not pulling a fast one on us and gets us arrested again.
all right. He turns on his heel and begins heading out through the hallways. You hear him let out a sharp whistle, and the rest of the guard starts falling in as you guys exit out the front door and out the main gate. Everyone here? As he looks around. Very good. Return to the Bastion. Keep your eyes peeled. Cirion and his men might be about. Let's keep these streets safe. They've been quiet for the most part for the night.
Did he give
Let's
us
go.
the journal already, or no?
He's still hanging on to it.
May I read that on the way?
You're more than welcome to here.
Figured it's as
Also-
good an opportunity as any to safely
I just want to point out
read it.
I just want to point out to everyone, all the guards while we're gathered here, a party of 4 people snuck into the middle of the house you were guarding without being detected. That's it. Just something to think on.
I thought we were trying to be on their good side now.
As you're marching along with them, and you're sort of like in the middle of this group, Turgon turns over his shoulder. From our perspective, it appears you've been captured.
Oh, that is good. We have been captured. That'll play
I'm
well.
glare at that one. I'm gonna glare at that one who just said
Go
that and
for
just
it.
be
Because
like,
Turgon.
oh, I will glare at him.
Yeah.
It'll sell the story to yeah, it'll sell the story. I'm not saying any more
Still,
details.
like, looking down at him slightly and being like,
Curse you, Turgon, for arresting us again.
Some truths are hard to swallow. Come.
So no Turgon said that it was above him, just skimming through. Is there anything that stands out with our more involved knowledge of the things?
So as you leaf through, as you're walking around, you have a choice. You can either give me a riddle, a lore, or a shadow lore check.
A riddle, a lore, or a shadow lore? Let's go. Where's my character sheet? Sorry. It's the same pretty much regardless. Shadow lore. Why not?
13. From what you remember, things seem to line up a little, from what you can tell. The pages are in various states of aging. This appears to be mashed together from various sources and various entities over the period of time. What you do catch on one page near the end, so a bit newer in the entries, is a charcoal sketched archway, large doorway or gateway. It's hard to tell because it takes up the whole page and there's nothing really there to sort of set your perspective in terms of scale of what this might actually be, but it is definitely a structure of some sort that is just appears to either be carved out of stone or even built brick by stone, and it just appears to be a large archway of sorts. There's some scrawling of black speech along the side of it that appears to either be a word or maybe a sentence, but unfortunately you don't read it. As you guys are walking through the streets following Turgon's lead, Fig, at the corner of your eye in one of the alleyways, you see the glimpse of two yellow orbs.
is it the same kitty?
Could be.
Starting to get sus of this cat.
Is it following?
I don't know. You caught the glance at the corner of your eye. You saw two orbs. It's like 4 a.m.
I'll just look back and give a little smile and nod, and then continue my way.
Okay. You guys follow Turgon towards a familiar sight for some of you. And maybe one you didn't hope to return to, considering the last time you were there. But you return to Isildur's Bastion, the main guard house and barracks for the Osgiliath Guard. As you guys walk in through the main gate and into the muster field, the gate closes behind you, and you see a handful of guards sitting about, 2 campfires going. They just seem to be on constant alert, swapping patrols, rotating through rest shifts. And Turgon just leads you up towards the base of where his office is, on the first floor, and just sort of unhitches his belt and places his sword along a crate. Take the rest you need. Just let me know when you head out for the sewers. And that is where we're going to take a break. So don't go anywhere. or go somewhere. I don't care. I'm not.
But come back! Go and come back!
Go forth and return like a boomerang.
Now come.
Hail, adventurer. Are you a dungeon master with a desire to transport your players to fantastical settings? Perhaps they are deep in the dungeon of a mad lich.
Fools, you have intervened for the last time. Let's see you survive my fireball.
Or perhaps the party has just come across bandits, and the Goliath monk releases a flurry of blows and a stunning strike to gain control of the conflict. Nice rolls on the attack. Or maybe the party is taking a breather after another difficult quest. If this sounds like something you want at your next TTRPG session, then head over to battlebards.com. By subscribing to BattleBards Prime, you get the ability to immerse your players in your campaign. You'll get complete streaming access to the libraries of both BattleBards and Platemail games. And whether your game is in person or virtual, you won't be limited, as you will have access to a caster and a mixer to be able to broadcast the tracks to all of your players. And of course, if you want to download and keep any tracks, then you get 20% off all in-store purchases. So what are you waiting for, adventurer? A quest posting at the local guild hall? Get over to battlebards.com and subscribe today, and use the coupon code ADVENTURE at checkout. Stay proficient, adventurers. Hail, adventurer! Are you a dungeon master with a desire to transport your players to fantastical settings? Perhaps they are deep in the dungeon of a mad lich.
Fools, you have intervened for the last time. Let's see you survive my fireball.
Or perhaps the party has just come across bandits, and the Goliath monk releases a flurry of blows and a stunning strike to gain control of the conflict. Nice rolls on the attack. Or maybe the party is taking a breather after another difficult quest. If this sounds like something you want at your next ttrpg session, then head over to battlebards.com. By subscribing to BattleBards Prime, you get the ability to immerse your players in your campaign. You'll get complete streaming access to the libraries of both BattleBards and Platemail games. And whether your game is in person or virtual, you won't be limited, as you will have access to a caster and a mixer to be able to broadcast the tracks to all of your players. And of course, if you want to download and keep any tracks, then you get 20% off all in-store purchases. So what are you waiting for, adventurer? A quest posting at the local guild hall? Get over to battlebards.com and subscribe today, and use the coupon code ADVENTURE at checkout. Stay proficient, adventurers.
All right. So welcome back. You done?
No.
Yeah.
Let her live her life.
Alright, so the four of you have been escorted back to Isildur's Bastion in Osgiliath with Captain Turgon and the rest of his attachés, if you will. It is still night, early morning. The sun is not out yet, but you can begin to see a little bit peeking in the eastern horizon. It's still a ways off. What would you like to do?
Rest, whether that's short or long. I don't know if we could do a long rest, but all I need is a short rest.
Where are we again?
The Bastion.
Isildur's Bastion.
And does it have beds?
There's a barracks here, yes. They're more of cots than, proper beds. Some of them are hammocks.
I guess my question is, when would we want to go into the sewers? Because it's hitting day. If we want to do night again, then we could sleep the whole day and try for night again. Like if there's time that way, if we're thinking of it, but then I don't know what the plan might be. That's what I'm curious about. Of when to go.
When to go?
When to go? The monster?
The monster. Honestly, I'm fine with either way. I don't think the time of day matters for when we go in the sewer. But if you really want to angle for a long rest, and if we can get a long rest here, then I'd be fine going in at night. Just become a night crew. Sleep during the day, do all of our missions at night.
Nocturnal. That could be something like our group name. We can be the Nocturnal Porter.
The only place I can think of that we would be close to eligible for a long rest at would be Gwyn's.
Oh,
Well,
probably the safe house.
oh yeah, because I think that's where we long rested before.
Brian's sitting there like, damn, they remembered it.
No, these things exist. It's up to you guys to remember them.
I know.
I mean, it doesn't. I guess I'm just trying to keep options open, but I also know that I'm the only
We can
one.
hit up. We can get that long rest for you, Fig. You've been patient and you've been asking for it.
You just see Vic going, "Oh, I'm tired."
We have long rest at home.
Dark circles under her eyes.
For someone who's lived in the wild for so long, she's certainly not sustainable in it.
Like I said, your concept and your actual character take very different stories.
My mechanics and stats do not match the whole narrative whatsoever. They do in some regards, but what I keep RPing, no. But what I'm open to also is we can do all the sewer stuff, and if things get really bad and I absolutely need a long rest after or something, then we can do that before we go? Question mark.
If we can long rest once in the safe house, we can long rest twice in the safe house, we can long rest thrice in the safe house. I see no reason. The sewers could be very dangerous. I see no reason for you not to get a long rest before we go in.
Okay. I mean, I am -1 rage bear, and I'm down by 12 hit points currently, to be transparent. So doesn't matter to me, really. I mean, it does.
I do not know these words you were speaking, Fig.
I'm
On
doing
a scale of 1 to 36, she's a good 24.
I didn't know you felt that way about Fig, Locke. Anyway.
She's just like you. What's 24?
Let's tell Turgon we're heading to the sewers tonight. And we don't even have to specify tonight. We can just tell them we're going to the sewers. And then we can rest up and hit the sewers after our long rest.
probably a good idea. If we don't specify to him, just in case something goes awry on his end or something.
That way there's no we need to control the information. If we're gonna do like this undercover operation, we need to control the flow of information as much as possible.
I agree. Only tell it when seemingly deemed necessary to those who seem like they deserve it.
No,
Watch, that's how we don't get any info in the end, because we're too tight-lipped.
I'll go talk to let Captain Turgon know.
Okay. You get up from your group and you head across the muster field. You see him sitting on a crate with his sword across his lap with a whetstone. He's just sharpening one edge of it. Yes, Malvhor, what can I do for you?
Well, just thought I'd inform you, Captain, that we are going to be leaving the Bastion shortly and making our way to the sewers.
Very well. Do you require any assistance?
We just require your men to not, if at all possible, slow us down on our way there.
We'll do what we can, but to keep up appearances, if you're out during curfew, then guards will have to intervene if they see you. And by all means, not everyone out there is one of mine. We're still in the process of flushing them all out.
That's fair. We will take great care to injure as few people as possible and to not get caught.
Very good. Be careful down there. Some sections of the sewer are in rather disrepair and quite dangerous.
Oh yeah, we've been through them a
Fair.
bunch. I've seen some of it. It's a mess in some places.
Yes, Osgiliath isn't what it used to be.
That's for sure. I remember back in my day.
If a Cirion and his lot are down there, then I'll leave it to you how you want to handle the situation, but if we have to bring them out in the open, then we'll deal with it then.
We might, depending on how the situation unfolds, we might elect to do a deep cover operation in which you won't hear from us for a long time. But
well, if that is the case, just know that any events that transpire above ground between myself and a Cirion, I can't control.
that is understandable. And if the most likely outcome, I imagine, is we take a Cirion alive, if he's there. If he's not, we find out where he is.
I wish you luck in taking a Cirion alive. That would be a task that's very few could undertake.
Well, Luck has followed me this far and hasn't let me down yet.
Yes, I have!
Be quiet! Until
well.
next we meet, Captain.
As you begin to walk away, he shifts his weight and leans out behind him. Booker, bring me a hawk. We have to dispatch a message to Bardor.
Stop chasing them.
You messed up.
All right.
Yes, we have to talk. Come to principal's office now.
Apparently they talk to you?
They have audibly confirmed they interacted with you.
Can confirm you suck.
Let's not beat up Barter too much.
No, he's
Maybe he
very
likes that.
handsome.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not the face.
Yes, don't touch the face.
No touchy. No touchy.
Okay, let us go to the safe house as sneakily as possible.
Okay. You all gather your things and only staying a short while at the Bastion, head out in the cover of what nightfall is still here. and retrace your steps from when you escaped the prison and head for the safe house that Ashlyn and Fig took you to. Go ahead, everybody, and give me a stealth check.
Yeah.
If you wish to use your...
2 nat 20s!
Yes!
I'm afraid to roll right now.
Not amazing, but
It's okay, Cirion.
Watch
We-
Locke will roll.
Not a natural 20, but higher than ours.
I would have laughed really hard if you rolled a nat 22.
I was waiting for a natural one to just cancel them both out.
I mean, same, honestly.
23, 25, 11, and 29.
Whew.
yep, I'm the oddball.
Without much of an issue, you guys trace your way back through some alleys and do some serpentine maneuvers to ensure the secrecy of this safe house isn't discovered, if it hasn't been discovered yet. You haven't been here in a while, who's to say? But you do eventually come to a familiar alleyway with a wooden cellar door that seems to be closed up. Walk up to it, and it still opens like it did. No light down below. Seems fairly abandoned still. Make your way downstairs. And it is quite dark and quite cramped, but it is just the way you left it.
Anyone
Good
down
night.
here? No one
Give me a
down.
perception check.
Oh.
yeah,
Is
we
it
could
still night or no?
It's dark in the room, so sure.
Oh, okay. I'll take it. Darkness!
There's not a soul down here.
It's dark.
Okay, everybody.
It's a small storage cellar, basically. So it's not
Time
exactly...
to make a big pile and just go to sleep.
Wynn's gonna yell at us if he finds us down here.
Joke's on you, it's Ashlyn that finds us down here right now.
They're both gonna yell at us. Anyways, I
Middle
will.
of the night, you just hear a shotgun, and you're like, "What are you vermins doing down here? I told you before that you're not welcome. Get the hell out!"
Win is the
Win! We're sleeping!
Win is the only character with a shotgun.
Look, he is Middle Earth's grandpa. He can have whatever the hell he wants.
He's gonna roll up on the Witch King with a shotgun.
Oh yes, I would pay to see that.
You got a longsword, I got a clock. Let's see who wins.
Oh my god.
I will try.
I'll sit and rest back against some of the boxes and just kind of lean my head over, and that's how I'll rest.
Okay.
Wake up to the cat.
This cat get here. I wouldn't ask any questions. I would wake up and go, oh, and just like take the cat.
Yeah.
You guys get into some semblance of a comfortable position and close the cellar door and try to make as little noise as you can, as you do on occasion hear the footfalls of Gondorian guards marching through the streets, coming up and down alleyways, doing their routine patrols for the evening and the early morning. But you can go ahead and take a long rest.
I can be bear again!
Malvhor just snores really loudly the whole time he's asleep.
Good news is I'm awake 4 hours in, so every time you snore, I kick you.
You kick him enough, he doesn't get a long rest.
One time you kick me, I don't wake up.
Oh!
Yeah, it's expected.
Wouldn't even question it, just, finally kick the bucket.
What Brian isn't telling us is that you're rolling a private D100 every time you go to sleep to find out whether or not you wake up.
Every day the threshold increases by 1.
Oh no.
There's an initiative coming up.
Wait, what?
Okay.
I
saw
had
that, I was
the-
like,
I had the other map pre-rolled if it turned into that, so I was
Oh.
just clearing it.
I was like,
So
Fight the rats.
Yeah.
So I guess night comes and we wake up to start it.
Good
considering
morning.
the time you went to sleep, it's probably like early afternoon.
Oh, that's fair.
So your sleep schedule is just fucked.
what's
I mean-
circadian rhythm?
Do we just want to sit here and
So-
play cards until nightfall?
What I was gonna say, with the curfew, is that a nighttime only thing, or is, with it being martial law, is it all day, every day?
Didn't really stop to get details.
Damn it!
No one asked that question.
Do I want to go on an adventure?
Go on the adventure.
I can
Do
go.
it.
I'll go on an adventure. I trust myself not
Hmm.
being able to talk my way out of a situation if I'm caught. Like I'll talk my way out. You won't be caught to begin with.
Well, I know with my stealth, I have good odds in my favor to navigate without getting caught. And I know my way back here. And I'll be frank, Matt, you can't keep up.
No. I was saying it's more one or the other thing.
Yeah. We want to split the party and have a little bit of exploration go on, or do we want to just wait till nightfall?
I feel like we're introducing an extra complication. Either so here it is. Either there is no curfew and we'd be safe to go out now, or there's like a 24/7 curfew and we wait till nightfall, right? Those are our options. And either way, I think we either just choose now to go as a group or wait till nightfall to go as a group.
I'm still fine with. Oh, I'm always fine with taking an extra measure or two for recon and intel.
Yeah,
That's
especially with our stealthy and charismatic players. Like, I feel like, I don't know. Me right now, I'm just like, I'm literally walking around like clunk, 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 clunkety clunk. And it's like, well, cover's blown.
it's like being prepared for as much as we know and whatnot. And I mean, that might still be coming from the kind of stealth stuff we just did, but I'm always for more detail knowing forward than better. But I'm happy to stay back and wait like an hour or two until you guys come back and tell us what you. It doesn't have to be forever, just like an hour or two.
Yeah. Like, we'll be fine right
Yeah,
here,
I mean,
hope.
if you want to just take a quick dip out, Locke, I guess that's fine.
And you're more than welcome to, too. Like you said, you can do the charisma based.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. Having two people go out separately, I don't think
Yeah.
would hurt, because if one person fails, the other person might succeed.
Yeah. Plus, don't some of the guards technically know you or recognize you anyways based on how you played with the story with Cirion and the whole drunk bit? So like they kind of potentially already know you mean no harm? Maybe?
I'm a fan of the stretch.
I
like
it.
I'm just gonna go for a walk around the block and see if I see guards. That's all I'm gonna do.
So you're gonna go for a walk around the block, and Locke's gonna go to try to get into the houses of healing.
Okay.
Nice.
How are both of you going about this?
Malvhor's just gonna walk like Malvhor's gonna walk like he's been cooped up inside for hours and wants some fresh air.
Okay.
Just like it's the most normal thing in the world.
Locke is going to be sneaky unless it becomes very obvious, like people roaming the streets as normal, not in military gear, that there is no daytime
Okay.
curfew. At that point, there's no reason to be sneaky.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth check. 17. Okay. So the two of you head out from the cellar and edge towards the main roadway and eventually part ways. Locke heading in the eastern direction to go across the bridge and head for the Houses of Healing. Both of you sort of do what you do. Malvhor, you just sort of walk around, take in the air, let the sun hit your face, and just sort of keep your eye out of things. Locke, you dart alleyway to alleyway until you get to the bridge and just try to cover as much ground as you can. Both of you do eventually notice that there are guards out. They are patrolling in some manner of form, usually groups of 3. But on top of that, you do see a few people out, some fishermen down by the wharfs mostly, and on occasion just somebody roaming the streets. It is definitely seemingly less populated than it's been the last time you were here. There's more of a guard on street presence, and most people are either left the city or they're staying indoors, but there are people out, and the guards don't seem to be harassing anyone at this point in time.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
I'll make my way back to the safe house once I see. That was my whole point of coming out.
I would still, if it seems plausible based on the presence of those about, like to make my way to check in on Maname and possibly grab a few Athala salves or something similar to help us, maybe, God willing.
You do, after a while, get to the Houses of Healing. They are in a state that you're not quite used to seeing. Short-staffed, run-down. There's probably 2 healers there, and initially you don't see Maname, but you ask around for her, and she does eventually show. Locke, it's been a while.
Indeed it has.
Been 10 years, Locke.
Hasn't been that long, though, has it, Grandpa?
10 years is a week to us.
It's true. As seems to be the... Oh, go ahead.
No, it's like I heard that you had left the city a while ago. What brings you back?
A little bit of clearing our names, a little bit of research into the chaos that we've gotten ourselves thrown into, and wanting to check on old friends and make sure all's well in the chaos that has ensued.
Well, I appreciate it. Myself, I am well, but the work here has gone stagnant. There's not a whole lot we can do for the lot that have remained. Some of it is just the air itself. The lot coming from Minas Morgul over there, just the air itself has seemed poisoned at times, and there's almost no helping that. But we do what we can.
Thinking of the state of the city. As someone who has been obviously inside, and I'm a recent returnee.
I'd say it's a shell of its former self, but I've been to Osgiliath when it was the beacon of Gondor. So this is more of a shell of itself.
Shame. And I would assume it's safe to say that your healing supplies in general are in tight supply at this point.
Yes, the rangers came through late last night and actually picked up what was left of my stock. There's been an increased amount of orc patrols and raids throughout the forests, and the rangers are being stretched thin.
We've dealt with a few of those ourselves. And the Mouth of Sauron has reappeared in the age.
She sort of goes.
I say that obviously very quiet, whispered to someone that has obviously similar experience as I do with the situation.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea of the absurdities I found myself in.
Does not bode well if he's reared his head. He disappeared from history in the Second Age. But having his head poking up around here makes you wonder what he's up to.
I can at least tell you with a bit of confidence that the snake is biting itself, so to speak. The Witch King and he seem to be at odds over the remaining forces. So, at least there's not a unified front.
That is good to hear. I know when Sauron fell, that a lot of the orcs and uruks spread to the wind in forms of tribes and formed their own factions and warred with each other for some time, so it seems like that is carrying true to this day. I don't know if you're available for work, Locke, and with our supplies running so thin, I have a contact in the Greenwood who might be able to supply us with a decent amount of herbs for most of the salves. If you find yourself heading in that direction, let me know.
Absolutely, who would I be looking for? I can't really predict the direction that I'm about to be headed, however. Better to have the knowledge in advance just in case I do find myself.
Are you familiar with Amon Lonk in the Greenwood?
I don't know, am I?
Just give me a lore check. It's a
21.
21. Yeah, Amon Lonk is a specific region or landmark in South Greenwood.
Okay.
It roughly translates to the Bald Hill, but there is a fortress on it.
Okay.
And for the most part, for those of you that wish to know, Amon Lonk eventually becomes Dol Guldur.
Ah.
That sounds familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see it before it's fallen.
Yeah. Kev, the Hobbit movies, it's where the necromancer's at and the orcs gather.
Yep. Yep.
I know. I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're good.
All good, buddy.
There's a captain of King Thranduil's there, by the name of Lachion. Friend of mine, met some time ago. So if you find yourself in the region, or at least heading that direction, I'd appreciate if you can speak with him. He might be able to supply us with what we need.
Do my best if I'm in that region. You know, rather than continue risking getting myself caught, are you aware is Win okay? It's been another we've been concerned about since we left.
She stops and thinks, and you see her eyes sort of darting back and forth. Oh, the innkeeper.
Indeed. He's my landlord for quite some time.
I don't actually know. I believe he left the city. At least that was the last I heard.
Interesting. Okay, good to know. Is the inn occupied still, or
I don't believe
someone else
so.
taken?
I think it's just been left in whatever state he left it in.
That is good to know.
I don't know
Guys.
the granddaughter either.
We have a headquarters!
Welcome
What?
to HQ.
What?
I mean, you're not necessarily wrong, depending. I appreciate your help. I appreciate the news. I'm glad that I could come here and let you know that I am, in fact, still alive. But I hate to put you at risk by staying here longer, so I believe I shall be on my way.
Very good. Take care of yourself, and if you need of anything, don't hesitate to let me know. I'll help in whatever capacity I can.
Understood and appreciated as always, my friend.
To you as well.
And I'm gonna go ahead and start working my way back towards the storehouse, but I'd like to kind of swing by and get eyes on the inn, if that's possible.
Yeah, they're going across the bridge, and you'd basically pass the King's Respite on the way to the safe house. Yeah, you basically end up in the main square for the most part. Windows are shuttered, some of the shutters are falling off. It's in a worse state than it was, though when you were here originally, it wasn't, no 5-star hotel. It was the only inn in a rundown city. So it looks dark, it looks abandoned.
Does it look like it's been broken into or anything like that?
The door is like ajar to open. It doesn't look like there was any effort to have it locked, but you'd have to go inside. There's no evidence of, hard to tell if there was forced entry or if it's just broken from age.
Right.
Yeah, broken from age. Me.
Same. Guy needs a hip surgery.
Ouch.
All right, I make a mental note of that. I don't feel like drawing attention to myself by trying to sneak in or around it with my luck. I'm pushed plenty already, so I'm gonna make my way back to the safe house.
Okay. You all reconvene.
Yeah, so it's perfectly safe.
Hello!
It's perfectly safe to walk around the streets during the day.
Maybe not as a group.
Maybe not as a group. We could go one by one to the bathhouse and use that as a sewer entrance.
I don't know why that just made me laugh. A little bit of news from our friends in the city. Monayame and the Houses of Healing are still operating as best they can. The Rangers have unfortunately cleared out the last of their stock, so the supply of Phyllis solve that we have on us is all we will have at this time. And it sounds like Wynn left shortly after we did. The inn has actually been abandoned. Okay, good talk, team.
I'm writing notes, sorry. Malvhor's just scribbling on parchment. Sorry, I'm writing everything. I transcribe everything you say, Locke. Because there's deep wisdom in what you say.
No indication of where he went.
No, I was close. I heard tachyon instead of lachion, but I had the spelling right minus the T. Or minus the L, I had the T. No indication was given. Monayame mentioned that the granddaughter was missing as well, but of course we all knew that.
Right.
But it doesn't look like it's not secured, but it also doesn't face value look like it's been robbed or anything, but he definitely left it in the condition it was when he left. So, and additionally, if we find ourselves in the Greenwood, We are to look for Lachion. He is a captain of Thranduil's.
Do I know him?
Go ahead. No, I'll say no. You don't actually.
Oh, okay. I'll perk up at Greenwood though.
It's in the region of Amon Lank.
Do I know that?
Particular.
Yeah, it's one of the Greenwood fortresses in the south. Elven fortress.
So if
You
we
haven't
end
been
up
there,
back
but
there,
you've heard it spoken about.
I assume I haven't been there though, because that's way too far south. Yeah.
so if ever we find ourselves in that region, Monoame has asked that we speak to Lachion on her behalf to restock herbs here. We are having quite the time maintaining a stock, and the rangers, she obviously doesn't have me that is going out and gathering for her anymore, and the rangers that would normally do that are currently fighting orc patrols and are stretched even further thin than we were led to believe.
Orc patrols. Turgon mentioned that too, right?
Indeed.
Did he say why? Activity increase? Or do we know?
I mean,
I
I
don't think he
it's-
actually.
Is that
We don't know.
Suspicious.
We don't know specifically, but I mean, it would. Everything we found, it has to be linked, right? Trying to prepare for this ritual to summon something. Two dark lords jockeying for power over the forces of the orcs. Things are happening. Things are on the move. In a way that hasn't been seen in a long time.
would
Activity?
it be worth potentially? No. That would be spreading ourselves too thin.
I don't think it's worth our time to go after these orcs.
No, we must get to Rador soon with his notes.
If we focus on helping Rattle, I believe we will get to the bottom of everything.
Hopefully.
So, to the sewers. Not as a group though. We could go in pairs. That would probably be unsuspicious.
Are we going to go during the day, or were we still waiting on nightfall?
I say go into the day, because then that eliminates the need of having to avoid the guards. We can just walk by them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, who wants to go with me?
Hi.
Okay, let's go.
Or should we-
Cirion.
Or should we try to do one better stealther with one not so better stealther to try to balance?
We're doing the social. You'll go with me. I'm on the sneaky, and then we've got Malvhor as the talk you out of your way sneaky. So
Yeah, come with me, kid. I'll talk. The kid and I, we have so many bits planned out already. We usually default to drunk son, but
All right, yeah, okay, I'll make this a challenge. I want to see something other than drunk this time. You got one?
Let's do it. Look, I'm no fucking actor, but I will try.
I'm ready. Improv. Let's go. This is all improv.
Let's do
anyway.
this. Let's
Oh
go.
my God.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I want some chaos. Let's do this.
Oh god. Now you guys okay. All right, I guess that's good old Fig and Locke.
All right. So you guys split up. Is there actual intention to be sneaky, or are you just waltzing out?
the Cirion and I'm we're just waltzing.
Okay.
Like we own
No,
the
so-
place. Like we're
My
meant to
stealth
be here.
Sucks.
Two of you.
What would you like to do? I can follow your lead. Doesn't matter to me.
not sneaky in the dark from shadow to shadow way, but in the general anonymity with our presence walking. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys can give me social stealth checks then. So
Oh no.
if you have proficiency in stealth, you can add that to your d20 roll and then add your charisma.
Well, what's the you can just
JK, based on that, I want to do shadow to shadow. Because I have expertise in stealth.
I was gonna say my charisma is a -1, so.
And mine is a single Uno.
I have to.
We'll stick to
You
what
can
we're good
do-
at.
I was like, I give you guys options, so
No, I
you
like
can do it
the
any way
option.
you want.
Yeah,
Okay.
just not as this
All right.
character.
All right.
Exactly.
Regular stealth checks.
Maybe if I was Thea from way before. Do the thing.
13 and 17. Okay. You guys head out first and slowly move, keeping off like the main roads. You keep to like the back alleys, not actively trying to like hide and look suspicious. You're just trying to avoid any potential crowd or roaming patrols. You don't run into anybody. You make your way, get over to the bathhouse. Two of you, as you head out into the day, into the main roads, and just sort of blend into the crowd what best you can. You pass a few patrols, you pass a few individuals. On occasion, there's somebody on the side of the street, like holding out their hands, asking for food, water, whatever you look to spare. And you do whatever you wish to do with them. And for the most part, you arrive at the bathhouses uninterrupted.
Well, that was easy. Yeah, we know where the broken bathhouses. We know where the how we got down through here once before. I say I'll just go there again. There's the area with the like the vines growing in the bath that we climbed down.
Yeah, you guys go to the one where you escaped out of. Find the one sort of drainage grate that has been removed, and you shimmy down to about where you're 10-15 feet off the ground. Everyone, just one by one, go ahead and give me athletics checks. Or sorry, acrobatics, not
Oh.
athletics. Sorry.
That's a bit better for me.
Me too.
Okay.
You all land without injury. Having gone through here at least once before, you know how far the fall is, and it's a little bit brighter out than when you came through at an escape. So you sort of know what to expect. So you land definitely into the sewers with your feet colliding with the muck and mud of the wonderful sewer that you've now become oh so familiar with.
Well, now the next part is easy. We just find a patrol, and I smooth talk my way to take them back to their leader, back to their camp. That's the plan, right? We're gonna try talking our way through this, pretending we're saying we're against Turgon.
Should one or two of us stay back just in case?
If you want to, I mean, it could just be the kid and I, and you follow behind. But I mean, then if you get caught, it looks suspicious. Because they're probably gonna take us to a place where there are a lot of people. It's gonna be very difficult to be sneaky in.
Oh,
But
you've little faith.
that way, though, we could all also be outnumbered without escape.
If you do want to sneak behind, that's your prerogative.
don't know.
I mean, Cirion kind of knows us three as being together, but I mean, the kid and I were more well-known together than the three of us, but...
Because we're the two best friends. Anyway.
I mean, based on that logic, I could stay with you two. If Fig wants to
Then that leaves
remain
Fig
the
all
unknown
alone.
entity.
I've been alone before.
If Fig's fine with being alone and wants to be alone, then we can go that route.
Or I'm cool hiding in the background of Fig too. I was just offering options. Because you made the valid point of they would know me too in that case.
Yeah. I just wanted to
Oh.
ask that in case we wanted to make sure like all points or ground was covered or whatever. I wasn't trying to like continuously split us up or fight everything.
I'm of the opinion that in this case, it's best if we stick together, because then if our cover gets blown, we're all together when it does. If our cover gets blown and it's just the kid or I, or it's just the three of us, then, you know, the odds don't work out, right? Either Fig has to make her way to us alone, or the
Yeah.
two of us have to fight our way out alone, and it gets pretty hairy.
Okay, let's stick together on this one.
Yeah. I mean, can't really dispute that. The last time we tried to have one person go in while the three of us stayed back, it didn't work that well because I couldn't Kool-Aid Man through a freaking door, so.
Okay, well then, follow my lead. We will find a patrol, and I will do all the talking.
I
Or some
will
talking.
still stay in the back, though, and just try to keep alert of all of our surroundings.
Okay.
Me
All right.
too, with that monstrous passive perception.
I will be actively percepting.
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check as
Oh, is
four of
it?
you.
Dork!
What?
What? None. It's
As
fine.
the four of you sort of fan out with Malvhor and Cirion sort of heading up the group, and the other two dropping back a bit to rear security. You trudge through the sewers looking for or hoping to stumble upon either a patrol or someone else potentially down here. Malvhor, since you're leading this, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Pretty good at those.
Your active met my
18.
passive, Lindsay. Good job.
Hey!
Ayo.
18. So you recall being here just the night before and making your way in here, so you get the idea of maybe just retracing your steps a bit and heading down the route, going down the route you did to actually get into the city. And you wander for probably about 20-30 minutes down here until you do hear some sloshing in some probably like ankle-high water coming around a long bend of the sewer canal. It's not too long after you hear that, you do see the flicker of like a dancing flame coming from a hooded lantern or sorts around the bend, and two sort of silhouettes coming around as well. Well, all I've been saying is that we've been down here for weeks. We move every now and again, and Turgon hasn't found us, so why the hell do we keep going down here? When are we going to move against him? That's not for us to decide, alright? Just stick to your patrols, and we'll just keep them off of us, alright?
Hello.
Oh, jeez! Draws their swords.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
Identify yourself.
We're
What are
friends.
you doing down here?
I'm Malvhor. And from what I've heard, you and I have a common enemy in Captain Turgon. My compatriots and I are friends with a Cirion. He helped us escape our wrongful imprisonment, and we seek revenge.
Give me a deception check.
Little bit of real, a little bit of lie.
It's always deception I'm not proficient in. I'm gonna burn my inspiration.
You opened up with common enemy wanting revenge on Turgon.
True.
So unless that
It's
is
more
true,
deception. Oh my gosh!
10.
Oh.
God damn.
Both their swords still drawn. One holds up the lantern and shines it on the rest of you. And they spread out a little bit, moving through the water. What are you doing down here? How'd you find us?
Oh, we were sneaking in the city. We're sneaking back in the city. And, we just came across you. We saw you patrol in the sewer, and we overheard your conversation about you being waiting to move against Turgon, and we decided to introduce ourselves.
He gives you a long, narrowed stare. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, that's not a lie. That's true.
It's the juxtaposition of how this happened. He's just like, what the?
Listen,
What a random thing.
We're friends with a Cirion. We don't know where you're all stationed, and we figured talking to a patrol would be the quickest way to fix that.
What do you think? It's suspicious, that's for sure.
I'm sorry, is there a way, do you have like a contact card, an office I can reach out to? No, because you're in hiding.
You don't need to get snippy with us. We'll send you right back where you came.
Relax, gentlemen. He's just old and grumpy.
What were our orders again? Keep the sewers clear of trespassers. Oh yeah. Looking at 4 of them right here.
Listen.
Yeah, I think so.
You don't want to do this. It's not going to end well for you.
Give me a persuasion check.
That's the one you are proficient in, right?
Yeah, 29.
Damn!
29. Oh no.
That's higher than my stealth. Damn.
One
Wardens.
shorter one holds up the lantern and sort of rubs his nose. Oh no, mate. See that one in the back? Terrifying looking one? I don't think we want to fight her. Would you show some backbone once in your life? As he looks up and looks back behind you. But for once you have a good head on your shoulders. Alright.
Yes.
I was gonna say something, but this is fine.
Indeed.
I'm just gonna keep standing back menacingly.
I realize you've noticed the muscle of our party, Fig. I am Malvhor. What are your 2 names, gentlemen?
Making Brian come up with names for mooks on the spot.
It's alright, you can tell him. Look at his clean-shaven face. Looks nice. You really are the dumbest amongst us, aren't you? Got me this far in life.
I'm, while they're distracted with the conversation, just to kind of hit the point home. Were this combat, it would be the, hide. And be kind of sneaky behind them and tap them on the shoulder, not hurt them.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Oh, come on!
Oof.
If it's obvious they see me, I'm not going to try to walk past them or anything. I accept my fate with that.
Yeah. Name is Landon, and this is Ryder.
Strong names.
Fine. If you say you're here because you are friends with a Cirion, and that we share a common enemy, then fine, we will bring you to them on one condition: we can't let you in and so well armed.
Oh, that's fine. Do you have a? Would you carry our weapons, or is there gonna be like a? I assume there's gonna be a place for us to store our weapons when we get to your camp, wherever that may be.
We'll have someone confiscate them when we arrive. Unless you want Ryder to carry them, I can certainly try.
I would trust Rido with my life. That's an
You
award-winning.
shouldn't.
That's an award-winning smile right there.
You shouldn't have had 3 friends die in my arms.
Why not make it 4, buddy?
Oh my god!
It got so fucking dark out of fucking nowhere. What the hell?
Ryder. So he like pushes him back. What did I say?
What the?
He got hit on an orc patrol a few years back. He hasn't quite been the same since.
Yeah.
He doesn't know when to not bring certain things up. His entire platoon was wiped out. He's one of the few that survived, but
Hey,
Oh,
his superpower must be luck.
I'm not
Something.
people's superpower.
alright. Ryder, can you lead the way? I'll bring up the rear. Follow Ryder. We'll see what the lieutenant has to say about this.
Oi.
Well, now we have a kind of the idea he's down here.
Alright,
Good to know.
follow me. Try to keep up and don't step in anything bad. You might slip, and some of these areas get pretty deep. You might slip and fall down 8 feet down. You'll never come back.
Oh, thanks for the warning, Ryder.
Inhaling the muck in the water. Gasping for your last bits of breath while inhaling shit.
Did you have a friend die that way?
I didn't, no. That would have been a safer way. That would have been a nicer way for him to go.
Oh my god.
You just hear this exasperated sigh from behind you.
Oh my god.
Ryder. Whoa. Just walk, Ryder, just walk. You follow Ryder for a while as the canals bend and weave under the city, and after a while it's a little hard to tell which direction you came from, as it's just almost like catacomb maze down here. And you eventually come to not an outcropping, but it's like an intersection of the canals, and it's a bit larger and actually has a higher ceiling for various other smaller bits of canals to feed into. As you look out, and there's almost like a beehive of various pipes and openings feeding into this one section. But you do notice that there is at least one campfire here that is just embering. It's just smoldering. It's not fully lit, and there is probably about 8 other soldiers that appear to be here. And there's just various crates and barrels sitting about, and other tools such as like leather strips and whetstones for the sake of sharpening and maintaining weapons. You do see one individual who sort of comes up to you as you guys cross into this area. Ryder, did you guys pick up friends on your patrol? They say they're friends with the Cirion, so they figured we'd let them on in and see if they're actually telling the truth. Okay. So, and you just hear landing behind you. No weapons. Take them from them, please. Thank you, Landon. Always head on the shoulders. All right. If you could all please deposit your weapons with me. If you are who you say you are, you may have them back at a later point. Otherwise, we'll keep them because we'll kill you.
Yeah.
Spear from the escape.
I will hand over my short bow and my broadsword because I'm not heavily armed. That's all I got.
Okay.
I, on the other hand, am very well armed for the sneaky person.
You're the person that has
spear,
like 5
here's my
daggers
bow,
just
here's
buried.
the dagger, here's my other dagger, here's my sword.
I was wondering if you were gonna try to keep a dagger on your person.
Nah.
You turn the opposite way from us, and Stuart's like, hold on. And just he's like adjusting, moving, and everything. Pull a dagger out and hand it to them. Okay. I mean, with that, I like to think Kirion and I, or us, are okay, so I'll hand over my sword, dagger, and bow.
TPK.
And let's be honest, most of my damage comes from sneak attack anyways, so if I have to hide in combat and punch a guy in the nuts from behind and pull a Kevin character,
I mean,
can be done.
Is anybody actively keeping a weapon on them and trying to hide it?
I am not.
Standing right now.
Everyone deposits everything they have.
You will see Fig wait until the end until they approach her, and she'll hesitate for a moment, but then take out her axe and shield. She'll hand the shield over, but she'll look at the ribbon tied to the end of her axe, and she'll reach for it at first, but then she'll just reluctantly give the axe over.
All right. I will stow these properly, and Landon, you'll come back and let me know if they're gonna be returning for these. Yeah, I'll let you know. All right. Well, go on in.
Thank you. And I stroll on in.
So you guys walk into this small camp, for lack of better terms. And if you ever felt like all eyes were on you, now was the time. That every guard in here, any soldier or whatever you think they might be, they are eyeing you and not breaking their gaze. Landon takes over for Ryder and leads you back down towards, on the opposite side, behind a couple of crates and barrels, and into larger canal pipes that feed into this main cistern that you see down the way. Looks appear like it's been caved in on one side, and there are 2 guards posted at this entry point. You are led inside past the guards. You do see a familiar large individual sitting on a crate with a object on his lap that appears, as though closer you look at it, appears to be a large halberd. With an eye patch over his eye and a large whetstone, you just see him, like Cirion, grinding away at the halberd blade. He looks up with his one eye and sees the lot of you being let in. That'll be all. That'll be all, Landon. Please. Let them come in. As he puts the halberd off to the side and stows the whetstone, he reaches into a leather pouch and brings out a piece of flint, strikes it on the whetstone. Well, it's been some time since I've seen you.
It has been some time, Akirian. It's good to see you again, and I must
Cyrion's
say,
gonna crack a smile at a friendly face.
I I've loved what you've done with the place.
Courtesy of the city guard.
Cirion's gonna point at the halberd with a smile. When'd you get that, sir?
Oh, yes. Yes, I've had this for a while. It served me in many a fight. But it's been a while since I've had to use it.
Beautiful, sir.
How many are in the area with us?
When you say the area, you mean like the immediate vicinity or everyone you've seen coming into here?
Immediate vicinity. Like standing around and watching us.
There are... So you're in sort of like a pipe that feeds into the main area?
Yeah.
So there's 2 guards at that entry point, and then it's just you and Cirion. Everyone else is out in the main
Okay.
area.
So far, we've seen 13 counting of Cirion.
Yeah. To what do I owe the honor?
Well, we were, on our way into back into Osgiliath, of all things, believe it or not, against our better judgment, to retrieve some items for Rattle that he left behind, and Captain Turgon's foolish martial law has made it impossible to recover by normal means. And while we were sneaking in through the sewers, the same route we used to escape, we overheard some of your patrols discussing their animosity to Captain Turgon, and so we decided to introduce ourselves and touch base since you helped us escape.
Introduce yourselves. Well, I know the 3 of you decently, 2 of you quite well, but as he looks with his one eye directly into Fig's eyes, her I'm not familiar with. Tell me, who are you?
Fig.
If it's any consolation, sir, she's proved more than her worth and is a definite friend.
As he lets out a large puff of smoke from his mouth. I have no doubt about that. She has the look of someone who's quite useful in the fight.
Indeed.
The scars that tell many stories. You have the look of a warrior.
I mean, she's made at least one Templar God win himself, so...
Just a survivor from the wilds.
Lieutenant, if I may.
Please, Cirion, speak.
I'm truly sorry for what has befallen you because of us. Sir.
Don't be so quick to accept blame on yourself. It's not all what you believe. Wait,
Sir, what happened?
What happened is the good Captain Turgon, in his infinite young wisdom, is a man who doesn't quite see what is going on. He's too busy seeing ghosts. Enemies that aren't there. A war that is not transpiring.
Enemies that aren't there, sir.
I'd like to insight check this.
Go for it. He's quick to cast judgment and cast out his closest allies and his closest friends and cast them in a light that he believes suits his agenda.
Do you have any idea
We
what?
were definitely on.
Do you have any idea what his agenda is?
Power, can't you tell? Martial law, extracting his own brutality on the city. I'm sure you've seen it.
We have, and we've experienced it, at least the early stages.
The city seems pretty bare, to be honest.
15 on my insight check, by the way.
Yeah, I'm working on typing something.
Okay, no problem. Oh,
What's your plan then, Cirion?
Well, thanks to this martial law, the only way that it ends is that for the one in command to denounce it, to let it go, to drop it. Turgon. Turgon is not set on allowing that to happen. Or if he does, he'll lose power, and he'll lose Osgiliath. Now, don't get me wrong. The good captain is a good soldier. He's may not seen much, but he is definitely someone I would like to fight by my side. Unfortunately, as he takes the end of his pipe and taps the side of his head, unfortunately, he's not quite all there. This whole incident with the wraith or what have you that you found yourselves entangled with set something off in him. He thinks there's insurgents among him, orcs inside the walls. It's some grander purpose is being set upon Osgiliath, and he has gone so far as to cast myself and those that follow me out, handicapping his own strength of this city, the last bastion Gondor has between the enemy and Minas Tirith.
Is there any way to reconcile these differences, do you think? In your mind? We sat down and had a discussion.
There's no room for discussion. We're both soldiers. We know that there's only one way this ends.
How would you... Because I assume with Turgon out of the picture, you would then control the city. What would you do differently?
If the god would follow me, then I for sure would take up that helm, and the crown would not look otherwise, as they would see a problem resolving itself. And as long as Osgiliath stands strong against the enemy, then Orion will have it. As far as what I would do differently, I would ensure Osgiliath is staying strong against any orc that ran through Ithilien, and whatever threat Minas Morgul might pose to us. But as far as I'm concerned, this martial law is a sham and should be ended.
I would agree. You see, my friends and I, my allies and I, were not originally here to intervene in any sort of struggle between you and Turgon. Our task is different. But if we're here, and our aid could resolve the situation, then perhaps it is best we lend it. However, we're trying not to be hasty. It is a delicate situation. And the one that ends with the least amount of bloodshed among the guards and the soldiers of Gondor is the best outcome.
To part of that, I do agree. I have no desire for Gondorian soldiers, Gondorian guards within Osgiliath to spill their blood in a miniature civil war. Unfortunately, in our current predicament, that is what Turgon is driving us for. In a way, 2 old soldiers will settle this, is most likely with bloodshed. And you say that this is a delicate situation and we should not act hastily. If this was a week-old crisis, I would be inclined to agree. This has been going on for a month and a half. But you confused me. You've only just arrived. You sought me out wanting revenge on Turgon for what he did to you, if I'm understanding that.
Revenge is always on the table. As he did imprison us wrongfully for 3 weeks, and we only escaped due to our own ingenuity and some help from you.
He was willing to sell us out when you weren't. So there's really no love lost between him right now. So what do you need, sir?
And ultimately, we're here to collect something for Rattle. That is our ultimate goal, as I said when we entered. But a little setting things right and a little revenge, won't go amiss.
Radwell's a good man. He does well by the crown. And while most of his efforts are a bit above my understanding, nor do I care to understand, aiding him would most likely be in everyone's best interest. What have I told you? That I could give you your vengeance that you seek. And we can be done with all of this with limited bloodshed. Or at least minimalized bloodshed.
Well,
Minimal bloodshed and vengeance? You're speaking my language, sir.
it would be very interesting, and we would have to discuss how it works into our actual purpose for being here, and if we can make the two things mesh.
Well, I'm not one to push your timeline along, but things are happening regardless if your involvement or not.
Indeed.
So, it's merely of what side you wish to be on.
Honestly, we would not require more than a couple hours of discussion between us to lay out our schedule to come to a conclusion as to how much we can intervene.
Do you trust me?
I do.
Yes, sir.
And you lot?
It is not in the interest of the elves to meddle in the lives of men.
That's a standard firstborn answer.
And you, tall warrior?
I trust the judgment of my companions.
Tell me. I have a question for you, Cirion.
Before we get to that,
Okay.
Cirion and Malvhor, whichever is true, persuasion or deception check.
I actually
For
think...
your answer of do you trust him?
Yeah. Malvhor does. He helped us escape from prison.
Yes,
And
I trust him.
he hasn't seen anything yet to... Like, Malvor's trying to keep an eye out for things that show Cirion is aligned with the Shadow in any way, and he hasn't seen anything like that yet. Right now, it's honestly Cirion's word against Turgon's word.
Right. I mean, I trust him. Straight up. He's giving me no reason not to trust him.
13, my...
Hey!
Can I... I'm going to use my discourse on him. If I can, to give myself advantage.
That would be after the fact. You probably wanted to do that before you did the first roll.
Probably, so I can't do that.
Yeah. 12 and 13. He looks out past you. Kingsley! Soldier turns around, walks in. Yes, sir? Is the intel still good for tonight? It is, sir. Late in the evening. That is all. I'm going to propose something to the lot of you. If you choose to intervene, I would be greatly appreciative. I know that you would be solving a problem for Gondor and the citizens of Osgiliath, and hopefully to have the streets bustle once again and restore the name of Isildur's bastion once more. Surely in your travels you've heard that there has been an increase of orc raids and patrols throughout Ithilien and along the roads.
We've come across a couple.
It's been getting bolder and bolder. And we believe that there's going to be a raid on the city tonight.
Where did you
And
get...
the reason we believe this is that we may have leaked information that the guard is currently not at full strength, which is true. The orcs, according to a few of our ranger companions out in Osgiliath, will raid the eastern gates and the eastern walls late in the evening. Because of this, because of what Turgon has done and caused the guard to be such short-handed on his watch, it'll be a call to arms for everyone. And the good captain will have to helm that defense. If we can ensure the safety of Gondor and Osgiliath in this raid, while simultaneously removing Turgon in the battle, the problems would be solved.
That is indeed an interesting proposition. We've, like I said, we've come across some orc raiders in our travels when we escaped, shortly after we escaped the city, and then on our journey back. And I'm curious, Cirion, does the name Mordu ring any bells to you?
I can't say that it does.
I'm going to insight check that.
Go for it.
Oh.
Seems honest. Doesn't seem to ring any bells.
We have until nightfall to make a decision.
Ideally.
And you leaked the information to the orcs.
He looks up at one of the sewer grates and looks at the beams of sunlight that are just moving the shadows ever so slightly. I'd say you have a few hours. Probably it's just as the sun disappears in the west. Yes. We intentionally leaked misinformation and actual information, enough to entice an enemy raid. Knowing full well that we'd have the capabilities to snuff it out, but it would be serious enough to cause Turgon to come to its attention.
That's a very dangerous gamble, Cirion.
Sometimes, most dangerous things are the necessary ones. To snuff out the enemy and bring peace to these nations, you have to be willing to do something, even if it causes you to lose a piece of yourself.
Well, can we find rest in your camp, Cirion, and discuss our part in your plan?
You certainly can. Stay here. But until I have an agreement from you, I can't in good conscience give you your supplies back.
Understood. Ugh, some heavy stuff, Cirion. Life doesn't get any easier, does it?
It never does. But you'll understand that I'll give you the hour to discuss amongst yourselves, because then we need to move into position to prepare for this attack.
I understand.
Oh well. Talks amongst yourselves.
Much
He
appreciated.
puts the pipe back in his mouth, pulls out the whetstone, and brings up the halberd and begins to sharpen away.
Can we find some place private? I'll walk back out to the main area of the camp because I'm not going to talk in front of a Cirion.
Okay.
What's the camp look like? Obviously, there's the main entrance we came in. Are there
Yeah,
like?
there's like 4 entry pipes that lead in.
Oh, goodbye.
Oh,
That are big enough for you to walk through. There's a bunch of other ones that are smaller, probably about like that big around, that just feed in. There's a handful of guards, either conversing or doing whatever menial task they have. There's a couple of stacks of crates and barrels just sitting around, and like one makeshift table that's just sort of used for whatever. But for the most part, it's real ramshackle. It almost looks like it was set up recently.
No, because they're moving all the time. One of the other entryways of the pipes. I'm just gonna make my way in there just to the inside of it.
Okay.
I'm gonna gesture for everyone to follow me. And I'm just gonna be like,
Follow.
Locke, is anyone close enough to overhear us? Keep
Making
an
me
eye
do active perception.
Go for it.
16.
Seems clear. out of earshot of most.
Oh. Honestly, I am more confused now than when we entered. What do you all think? His pipe is very charismatic.
I mean, it's halberd.
That's what I can tell you from what I have gathered. Both men are telling the truth as they see it. From a purely trustworthy standpoint, I lean more towards Turgon. Something in addition to Turgon's death is driving Cirion. I can't quite put my finger on what that something is.
See, I'm on the opposite. I feel a Cirion is a little more trusted than Turgon. Turgon willing to make sacrifices with other people, versus a Cirion is willing to help.
Explain. I don't follow.
Well, Turgon was willing to throw us in jail. No questions. No even willing to come help or come to our aid. And all of a sudden, we appear, and all of a sudden, oh, all is forgiven. That strikes me as a little odd as well. Yet, the one that takes a fall is a Cirion. Sounded like Turgon needed a scapegoat for us getting out, and Cirion was unfortunately the one who fell. It's just the way I see it. Anyone else?
With all due respect, you are also very opinionated on this particular topic.
You are right.
I'm not discounting it, but I believe asking you to step back and look at this from a neutral standpoint would be rather difficult. Justifiably. Don't get me
It's a
wrong.
little hard. It's a little hard. That's why I'm willing to hear theirs as well. Know which side I'm leaning towards. Malvhor, Vig. Locke, I'm not
Personally-
saying yours is wrong. I'm not saying yours is wrong.
Personally,
Because I do see your points as well. Turgon has rubbed us the wrong way for entirely too long when Cirion has been nothing but a friend and helpful. So I'm just willing to see what I see. So, companions.
personally, from a personal point of view, I want to trust Cirion more because he's helped us where Turgon has hindered us, but Turgon had every opportunity to be done with us, and he hasn't, which generates conflict. Logically, Cirion needs Turgon dead. Turgon doesn't need Cirion dead. And the problem
Turgon has already dealt with Cirion.
the problem
Removed him from power and essentially removed his influence. He doesn't need him really dead.
the problem is I don't sense malice from either of them. This is a difficult decision to make.
So I had just to reiterate, the personal feelings I have between the two is both have what they believe to be in the greater good at heart. However, with Cirion, I sense ulterior motive than just the greater good. Whereas in our interactions with Turgon, between the fact I had a blade drawn on him for the entire beginning of our conversation and we were armed and left free to roam, tends to lean in a bit more trust.
And it doesn't rub me the right way. It rubs me the wrong way that Cirion leaked information to incite an orc raid.
Yes.
Especially when it can put the city at risk.
I don't agree. I don't like Turgon's use of martial law. So is the plan then to, because they're going to be in position in an hour, and unless we agree to their terms, I don't think they'll let us out of here.
Let's just say that Turgon won't change his mind on us or anything in the end as well. Just throw us back in jail.
He had the
Now we
chance.
would be discussing human nature and
Yeah.
We are pardoned for now. If something else happens again, and
he had the
he
chance
changes his mind.
He had the chance to capture us again, and he didn't. Let
Because
us go
maybe he
freely.
needs us. Maybe he needs more pawns or more people to do his dirty work and frame again in the future.
I'm sorry. I think I have to side with Captain Turgon.
my thoughts on this matter are especially because we revealed already that we had run into people down here and he was unaware of it. That was all the information he needed to continue his path. without us.
I'm on the side of a Cirion. A Fig?
Honestly, I don't know either of them well enough at all. I just met both of them today.
Which one you swiping right on?
This might be kind of late to ask. Were there... Can I do an insight check for, I don't know, any sort of like overall vibe or something after that conversation with Cirion in terms of like mannerisms he did or how he spoke and anything that seemed weird or in general what he was like?
You might have a better chance with your meditation, but I will say that you can use your insight.
I was thinking about that.
Since it's retroactive, it's going to be a higher DC.
Yeah, I was debating. We have an hour, right?
Yeah, he said like, I need an answer within an hour because we're moving.
Yeah, I think I will meditate.
So while most of you are having this conversation, Fig just sort of goes off into a corner.
Well, yeah, so I say that and I'm just going to ponder a little more and go, let me, something seems off. Let me think more for a little bit.
Where?
Put down! And,
Alright.
I'll just sit right down in front of him and just, like, close
Yep.
my eyes and hunker a little.
Go ahead and give me a meditation check.
Ooh. Where'd it go? Found it.
Custom skills 18. Okay. Sit down. Drown out the talking that's loosely echoing in the immediate vicinity because of the stonework.
I'm sure the three of them keep talking about who's who.
Yeah.
You just sort of focus in on the sound of what water is trickling through here until it eventually just drowns everything out. What are you focusing on?
Oh. Good question. I want to focus on which of the two... I need to phrase this carefully.
I'm like a genie.
I was about to say every meditation is a wish spell. Think it that way.
Bracket.
I know. Because if I just ask who is more deceptive, someone can still be deceptive, but in a very positive, like for a very positive outcome still. So,
Yeah. So,
I want to know which of the two is. Oh my god. I'm probably thinking too hard on it now too. Is, I guess, means harm to yeah. Who means harm on, well, not on others. That's very vague. It's like, what word do I want to use?
what is the topic you're focusing on? Is there a particular question, topic, place, person?
I basically want to know who I should put my trust in, essentially. Who would be better to follow? Who is, like, who has the ulterior motive and means more harm to others or the public or Middle Earth versus the other or whatever.
Okay, because you do remember you get 3 questions, right?
All of that. Split it into 3.
Okay.
What was it? Who's more trustworthy? Who has an ulterior motive and or means harm toward innocents, others, Middle Earth, etc., etc. And or WTF do I do?
Okay. I'm used to answering one question at a time. Now I'm processing all of this. You sit down and you drown out this noise around you, and you sort of just welcome in the black void of empty space in your mind. And having literally just met these two, you focus in on the brief interaction you had with Turgon at the king's house. You see him standing, conversing, have this sort of out-of-body experience that you have replaying this moment. And it's almost fluid-like and wispy. It's not solid in your mind's eye. But you do recall that entire time Locke pretty much had a dagger out. And Turgon remained calm, remained in control, never once jumped to a threat, did not move towards any sort of antagonistic sight. Then you think of a Cirion. And the immediate vibes in the juxtaposition between the two is a Cirion screams secrecy, screams ulterior motives because of the environment you found him in. He's literally hiding. He's literally moving. He's, from Turgon's perspective and from most of Osgiliath's, he's a traitor. He's an enemy. On what grounds, you're not quite sure, other than the fact that he aided in 3 imprisoned fugitives to escape and slowed the information. To what purpose? Not quite sure. Cirion also presented himself in a dominant manner. Guards, weapons, and he's already plotting hostilities. So you definitely know he means ill intent towards someone. Turgon never spoke of attacking or killing, just that a Cirion was a traitor, is a traitor, and needs to be dealt with. It is really hard as you place these two individuals next to each other in your mind and look at their body language, their mannerisms, their way of speech. They both speak in a manner of control and dominance, and you kind of attribute that to their military background and upbringing. They both hold officers' positions, so that's something they're accustomed to. There is just something about a Cirion. Something that surrounds him, either physically or metaphorically, that is driving him to do this. Whatever deal or bargain he struck for whatever purpose, there is something else pulling a string that you get this feeling from.
It's the pipe. It's the mastermind behind it all.
The pipe's a cursed item.
Let's get that pipe away from him.
There you go.
Fuck.
I'll stand. I don't believe Cirion has said everything about his intentions.
Yeah.
I believe he is holding something back still. And something different. Or something else drives him forward. However, is there a problem with helping with this raid and then going back to Turgon to update him?
This raid is it.
Right.
This raid is. They're gonna kill Turgon during this raid.
Oh, right. My brain got mixed up in all that. Right.
So, it sounds like, as a group, we've made a decision. Cirion might disagree.
Until his...
Disagree, but I don't doubt any of your judgments.
I think until his full intentions are known, we cannot fully trust him,
We don't.
but there is still a possibility that he could, I don't know, still mean well, perhaps.
We don't have the luxury of hemming and hawing.
No.
They're going to fight. One of them will die. We are in a position to choose. One of them, if left to devices, Cirion's going to kill Turgon. Turgon's not necessarily looking to kill Cirion, but that confrontation is coming tonight. And we have to pick a side. And it sounds like the side we're picking is Captain Turgon's. Now, Cirion's men currently hold our weapons. I don't think they'll just give them back to us unless we give a resounding support for their cause. We know too much.
I do believe that convincing others we mean well is your specialty.
So
He's giving back our weapons when again?
If we agree to help his side, we can get our equipment back.
Right.
Yeah, at that moment, you hear a heavy footfall behind in the opening. Well, what is your decision?
our decision.
As you see the most of the guards behind him grabbing weapons and mustering, some of them removing crates and barrels to start vacating the area.
Our decision is that we need to do what's best in we need to do what's best for Gondor, and what's best to unify Osgiliath and put an end to the Malvhor law. And from our perspective, that means following you out of the sewers. I'm being very picky and choosy with my words to eke out of a deception check.
To what end?
Okay, you know what? You know what? I can't ever eke out of a deception check.
Not everyone's going to accept half answers.
Can I count on you tonight?
We will be there with you against Turgon. I'm gonna use my discourse.
Okay.
Anxiety.
And ultimately, I think this comes down to a deception check. I don't think I maneuvered my words enough to make it persuasion.
Yep. Deception.
At least I have
'Cause
advantage.
It sounds like you guys have sided with Turgon.
I mean,
so
even
standing
the thing
standing
is,
against Turgon is not.
yeah, and
thing you're doing.
the thing is, maneuvering, trying to maneuver into a persuasion check in this manner is in itself deception. So
The spirit of what you're doing is deceiving.
it is. 17. That's not very high, but it's not low.
It's against the rules for players to use divine intervention, right?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Stands there with a pipe in his mouth. One of the guards comes up alongside of him, places the halberd on his left and grabs it.
That'll be all.
Goes over to the side of the wall and taps out what tobacco is still in the pipe. Brushes it off.
Well,
Hefts the halberd.
follow me then to the fields of glory.
And that's where we're gonna end tonight.
Oh my god.
We're gonna break a Cirian's heart.
I don't want to do that, guys. No.
Okay, you don't have to break it. I'll impale it. How's that sound?
Make sure I'm not around.
No promises.
'Cause I like this guy since the beginning, okay?
Isn't that the job of a double agent?
I don't want to be a double agent. Y'all wrote me into this life, and I'm here, and this sucks.
Turgon is an ass, but
Asshole. Fuck that guy.
The third option was you guys had Rador's notes. You could have just abstained and left and just watched them kill each other.
I didn't know if abstaining was an option once we were in a
I
Cirian's
didn't
hands.
think so either.
Because the
I
Cirian,
mean, there's.
a Cirian
I mean,
feels
you don't know it's an option until you try it, I guess.
and a Cirian feels a bit more of an extremist in this scenario, and I feel like he wouldn't have let us. Best case scenario, he doesn't let us go, because we know too much. Worst case scenario, he kills us.
Well, you picked your camp.
As long as Manahame is in this city, I feel obligated to take a side.
You picked your camp, but you now follow a Cirion and his lot somewhere to stage and fight this incoming orc raid, and hopefully, at least a Cirion, hopefully kills Turgon in the confusion, making it appear as if he died in an orc raid.
Fig's just like, I don't even go here. Who are you people?
She doesn't even go here.
But that's where we'll pick up next time. So thank you all for joining us.
We're getting our weapons back. He's not gonna send us into the field.
are.
He's not gonna send us into
Yeah,
battle with fists.
No, here you'll get
Cuffs.
So, hope
I
you enjoyed
will
it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you
claw
all
people
next
apart.
time. Have a good night and stay professional.